Okay. So what are the different ways can we see data? What comes to your mind first? What you have covered till now? List view, right? How do you see all the accounts you have created? Or what are the accounts or contacts that is there in the system? You go to the landing page of that account tab, right? You see a list view and you can see all the records there, right? It's one way of looking at that data of that object. The other way is to go to maybe Workbench and data loader and do a query, right? Query can also show you. This query results can be shown on screen, or this you can download using CSV file, right? These are two ways of seeing data. The third way of visualizing the data is reports. Salesforce allows you to create reports not only for that object, but adding another object and adding another object. So maximum of 3 objects. That means these 3 objects must be related to each other. So parent 1, parent level 1, level 1, level 2, and level 3. That means this is the parent of this child, and there is another parent like this. This is a child. So 3 level. If that is a relation between 3 objects, then that can be shown in report. Still 3 objects, or you can show 1, or you can show 1 plus 2 objects together, or you can see and add another object. Yeah. So this is the way of seeing the data visualization. What are the different kinds of reports possible? 4 kinds. What are number 1? Tabular report. What is tabular? Simple table. No complexities. There will be headers and there will be rows. A tabular report. It's a table form. Simple table. Yeah. The first kind. Now taking this tabular table or tabular report, and if I have a table like this, maybe column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5. Now, what may happen is that you might see that one of these columns, the data is repeating. Maybe high, low, high, low, something like this. Different records have different high, low, high, low, high, low, but the repeating. One of the column values is repeating. And one of the column values has a numeric value. Maybe amount, $100, $20, $30, $40. So a table like this, what we can do is that we can group this column based on these values, and we can add up these column for these values. So what we'll have, what is a total of all highs, total of all lows. Yeah. So it's like grouping of the rows, right? So how this row grouping is done? By one of the column, right? So grouping is done by a column, and the value or the summation is happening for another numeric column. So there are 2 columns in picture. So when you do a summation, then you will have a subtotal for this one, and then there will be a grand total, right? So this kind of a table is called a summary table. So group by column will be a summary table. Second form of table. What is third form? So we have seen already that I have grouped a table by high and lows. So maybe this will say high, some amount, low, some amount, medium, some amount. I have grouped it already. Based on another column value, I can also break these values, and that column value will come in the as different columns here. So if this is a grouping which I am doing on y-axis, this is a grouping that is I am doing on the x-axis for this area. So when I have a grouping of number 2 is summary. Summary is grouping of columns, right? Group of columns. When I have a group of columns plus a group of when a group of rows, sorry. When I have a grouping of rows and here I have grouping of columns also, both. This kind of a report is called matrix report. Please note, you cannot have directly a grouping of columns. You have to first do a grouping of rows, then you can go to grouping of columns. Okay. We'll see this in details, how that looks like, what I'm talking about. The fourth kind of report is called joint report, wherein there are two different reports, report 1 and report 2 are creating another report, a full-fledged report, and there is a little bit of column data, which is basically helping this join. Okay, we'll not cover joint reports today. It is quite complicated. We'll talk about the first 3 reports today. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Another thing to remember is report is dynamic. What does it mean? Same report will show different values or different rows based on who is logging in. Correct? Why that will happen? Any idea?
Because of the permission sets we provide to owners, non-owners, etc.
Not permission sets, because of the actual permission of that row level security, right? Record level
Yes.
security. So if that guy is a manager, then probably he can see everybody's records. If that guy is a employee, then probably he can see only his records, right? So same report will show different values for different people, whoever is logging in. So that is different. Okay. So let's jump into the reports. Let's see what a report looks like, how to create a report. And then we will come back and discuss what is a dashboard. Okay. Okay. Reports and reports are for general public. People who are not administrators, they can also create reports. That's why reports are not under setup. It is normally available as a tab. Okay. So when you have a tab for reports, through which you can create a new report. There are standard reports which you can use. There are standard report types which you can use and create your reports. There can be custom report types also, similar to standard object and custom objects. Similarly, standard report types, custom report types. So what is standard report types? Standard report types means a selection of object or objects which Salesforce has already given you. Let's see that. You see, these are the standard report types. So I have a report I can create on account object. I have a report which I can create which is which contains both account and contacts. I have another report which I can create with account with partners. So different kinds of reports are there. It's opportunities with products, only opportunities. I can have cases. I can cases with contact roles. So different combinations is possible. Okay, I can create my own object, and that for that I can also have my own reports. We'll discuss that. First, let's talk about an opportunity report. So I want to create a new opportunity report. I have selected opportunity record type, so report type, so that I know. Can you put yourself on mute? I think Priyanka, if you can put yourself on mute. Thank you. So what happens is now, here is the column view, and this is the report builder. So you can create your reports. You see it comes with already some columns there. You can remove the columns which you don't need. You can remove the columns from here, or you can remove the columns from here also. We'll remove all columns, will keep type and stage. Now let's keep this for. Yeah. Save and run. Whenever you create a save and run, you can select which folder are you storing this report. Folder is very like it behaves the same way as you use a Google folder, Google Drive folder. If you put it in private, then it will be only, this report is only applicable to you. Nobody else can access this report. But if you put in a public public reports and save it there, this report can be used by other people. Okay. So let's go back and edit it. I will change this closed it to all time. And now if I run again, you see I am starting to see data. 31 opportunities. One thing to remember, if I go here and I make all opportunities, this is a list view, right? It also has 31 opportunities, right? All these opportunities are showing up in this report, which I said. Here I can go and change. I can change data. You can go here. You can change this value to something else, right? On reports, you cannot do that. Okay. I did not save it. The filter. So let's change it once again. Save and run. Now the report will show me all the results. Okay, you see the charting system is gone because this is a normal tabular report. This is what we call a tabular report, because on the header there are fields of this object, and here is the results. Okay, now what we can do, we can export this report. So if we do an export, you can export this in different formats. If you can export in CSV, Excel, or normal Excel files. Okay, so that is the benefit of doing a report. Here you can export in Excel files. And another thing will come to that. So here you see the number of records it is showing and the exact actual records is showing. I can go and edit it once again. And this time you see grouping of rows. So I will start grouping of rows based on one of the column. You see, let's see the types. It's a new customer, existing customer. There are many things are there, right? And this is the numeric data which we have. So we can total these amounts based on these types. So let's do that. Whenever I do that, I see some things in the bottom which is coming. So let's see that. When I do a save and run, you see, first a add chart opens up. Second, this type is grouped now. You can see this. And based on different types, all the opportunities which has the type same are grouped together. Okay, you can remove the detail rows if you want. So it will show like this. This type value, based on the different type values which can see across the records, how many records are there, we can count it. We can see those details also. We can do a subtotaling of that. We can do a grand totaling of that. Let's see. You can do the grouping here from here also. Okay, it does the same thing. Here I am grouping using a different column value. It is a stage. Okay, this time, and it does the exact the same thing. If I remove the detail rows, it will show it this way. Let's go back. This amount, what kind of grouping I want to do, I can do it here. So I can do a sum, average, mean, max. So let's do a sum. You see this? Now it is showing me a subtotals of every group. I can also remove the subtotals. I can remove the grand totals. I can remove the detail rows. I can even remove the row counts. Then bare minimum. This is the table results that will come out. You see? So this is called a summary report because it has been grouped by rows. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Yeah, good. So now I do a column grouping. I can also add multiple groups. It's not that column row grouping is only one level. You can have more. You can do a column grouping like this. You can now add stage inside it. Both. You can save and run. In that case, it will look like this. You see? If I remove that, it will look like this. Inside this type, I can break into different stages and I do that. But instead of doing this, if I show this in the column view, I think probably it is easier to see. Let's see how that is done. So instead of taking the stage from here, I do a group here. And I do a save and run. Then what happens? Yes, it looks like this. Isn't it better looking? So based on each value, now everything is broken down. Type is this, and stage is this. How many, what is the amount? If I want to see the row count also, you will see these are like 2 rows are here. I want to view the details of the rows, it will come down here. If I click this, it will show me which records are basically adding up to this amount. Clear? I can add a grand total also. So it will add up here also, it add up here also. And I can do a stack summaries also. Clear? This kind of a report, which is grouped by a row and by columns also, this is called a matrix report. Clear, guys? Very easy.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Because matrices has rows and columns.
That's correct. So grouping of rows, if you're only doing grouping of rows, then basically you are doing a summary of, it's called a summary report. But if you are doing grouping of rows as well as grouping of columns, in that case, it will become a matrix report. Clear? Now, both summary report and matrix report provide you to add charts. Okay. When you do add chart, you can add a chart like this on top of it. You can change this chart pattern to do whatever you want to do. Donut, funnel, stack bars, everything. This can give you a better view of how matrix report. Stack bar is very wonderful for matrix report. Donut is very wonderful for summary report. Okay. Let's save this. I think it's saved and run. Okay. So let's do that. So one thing to remember here, that reports are dynamic, as I said. So what I am seeing here, you are logging in and using the or opening the same report, you may not see the whole data. You may see 3 data. Maybe you are the owner and you're seeing that. I am the manager. I can see everybody's data, right? So the reports is the area wherein you will have maximum impact of this OWD and other things. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here, very important thing for you to remember, that a snapshot of this report can be sent via mail to people who do not even have access to Salesforce. To do that, you have to create a subscribe button. This you have to click. You can choose the frequency, and then you can select which run the report as whom, whose data will go out. Is my data or somebody else's data? That's a logged in user whose data will go out, and then you can send recipient. You can add different users, role, public groups, whatever, or there can be subscribers. Okay. And those subscribers can come in. So maybe indication user, these 2 subscribers come in. Okay. So this is it will go as a mail to that person. So he may not even have these kinds of access to any other thing. He's probably can be a normal Salesforce user who doesn't have access to other things, but he will get the mail. If I run a subscribe, like I do a subscribe for that people, so they will get it in as a mail. But mail, what they see, that is like a picture, a screenshot of this report. Okay, that can run every day. So you don't have to log into Salesforce to see this report. Okay, now, any questions so far? Good. I will go back now to see the next thing, which is called a dashboard. Have you ever heard about that?
Yes, sir. In Trails.
Not in Salesforce. Outside of Salesforce.
Outside of Trails.
Have you ever heard about dashboard in real life?
I also see in the Creator Studio there is a dashboard in YouTube.
Where?
In YouTube there is a dashboard you can use. When using the Creator Studio, you have to use the dashboards.
That's fine, but forget software investment for a while.
In real life, like a hardware, like a solid thing.
Yeah, forget about software. Yeah. Have you ever heard about a term called dashboard anywhere?
No, sir.
We heard about dashboards, like really
Where?
hard. Didn't
Where have you heard dashboard?
I can't recall that particularly.
So in matches,
In
giving the score of matches, it's basically the count of the score.
score matches, dashboard. Huh? That's fine. Yeah. Anything else? But I think you're missing out the most popular
In
area wherein
newspapers,
Huh?
newspapers,
newspaper has dashboards.
like vote results.
News.
No, board results are not dashboards. What? Where do you have you ever? You have never heard about the term dashboard ever? Normal people don't talk about dashboard. Have you heard about it? Anybody has a car?
I have a scooty, sir.
You have a scooty? Have you heard?
Yes. Sorry, missed that. That is also dashboard. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard about a dashboard of a scooty? So that's-
Oh, yes.
Oh,
That's a
it's
dashboard. Right.
Right.
what is
Right.
that?
That's a
Where-
dashboard.
Here you will have a
Like an analog meter, a fuel gauge.
yeah, you will have 10, 20, 30. It will show you miles.
Yeah.
You
That's a
will have
dashboard, right?
different gauges where it will show how much oil you have. This might show something else. What is this doing exactly? What is the purpose of this thing? This is in car we call it a dashboard. What is
It's
the
showing
purpose?
some stats.
Yes,
some
it is
data.
showing some stats. But why? What is the point of the stats?
To
What
know
if it was not there?
that
what
would
would
be a
have happened?
problem.
What
Like
problem would happen?
it is necessary to understand the object, as if we see the car as an object,
Hmm.
we know we can get some information by looking at it, like how many kilometers we traveled, how much fuel
That's
is left.
fine. That's fine. If I give you a total report to you, your hands, that every time instead of that dashboard, I give you a reading that there is 10, then it changes to 20, then it changes to 30. Scroll by scroll, you see a huge number of data. Every minute it changes. Will that be helpful?
No.
Why it will not be helpful? I am giving more details. Right?
Then like we will have to store everything.
No, I am saying that if I am think about a car.
Yeah.
And a car has a meter which is showing you what is the fuel level, right?
Yeah.
Instead of that showing up, if I give you a level of every minute of that car and give a big report to you, and it is automatically changing every time, will that work? If I am saying to 200 milliliter, 300 milliliter, 200 milliliter, it is changing every time. Will that work? It is not there, right? It is just a smaller pictorial representation of an arrow sign, which gives you a. Does it talk about how much a liter of oil is stored there? It does not talk about that oil, right? It is just an indicator to show maybe 1/4 is available, or it is halfway full, or a full way full, but it does not give you details, right?
Yeah.
So instead of giving a details, still that you are saying that if it is not there, then I will be in trouble. So
Yeah.
sometimes details is troublesome to use.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you are running a car, when you are on a top speed, at that point you do not have time to look into details. You need something be very flashy, but that needs to be very easy to understand, easy to gauge, and easy to make decisions on. Correct? So a pictorial and graphical representation of data is very, very essential for people who are looking for a big picture. Who are looking at the big picture? Maybe the steering committee of that company, maybe the CEO of the company. They are taking quick decisions. They will see individual records. Do they need to see individual records? They do not need to see individual records, right? What they need to see? They need to see show me a graphical representation, or what is the donut, that chart which we created, right? That chart on the report top, that might be useful for people. Rather than looking at this data, mundane data, the CEO does not have time for it. He probably can make more sense out of that chart. And looking at that chart, he can understand this area is going wrong. There is some problem.
It's like it makes easy to understand data
Absolutely.
currently.
Absolutely.
Simultaneously, to understand data is easier to use dashboard.
Absolutely. So dashboard
Okay.
is a pictorial representation of your data, which is very high level, so that it can make quick decision making possible. What is needed to create a dashboard in Salesforce? Dashboard in Salesforce is exactly doing the same thing. It is a collection of charts. How to create chart? We already showed that a report has a chart, right? So the feed for a dashboard is basically a report, a chart of a report, isn't it? Either I can put a report and create a chart in the dashboard, or if the report already has a chart, I can use it directly in the dashboard. Okay. That is what a dashboard is all about. Now, dashboard is not dynamic by default. Report is dynamic, but dashboard is not dynamic normally, because the real purpose of a dashboard is to see the data of the whole org. I am not too concerned about individuals' data, right? That is the main purpose of the dashboard. So usually dashboard is created by a admin or a super user who has more information, or he has access to a large number of data, and based on his view, dashboard is run, and anybody can look at that view, that chart. So the information is created or shown, presented, which is available for one user to multiple users. So dashboard is basically by default static. That means somebody's data or somebody's charts I am showing to everybody else. Clear, guys? So
Yes,
a
sir.
dashboard is basically storing data from multiple reports, and that reports are basically running on the context of the person who is creating that dashboard, or I can choose whose context it is. Let's look at it carefully. Let me know immediately if you're getting confused. A little complicated to understand. I don't, but bear with me. I think I will make you understand that. So this is a report which I saw, right? This is individuals accessible data. Everybody will go and see the report. A person who is a manager, he can see more data. But this is contextual. This is only talking about opportunities. But when we are talking about dashboard, we need multiple data all together in the same screen. That is the whole purpose, right? When I'm creating a dash or looking at the dashboard of a car, I'm looking at multiple information. I'm looking at the speed in which the car is running. I'm looking at the fuel tank. I'm looking on the RPMs on which my systems are running, everything. So I create a new dashboard now, and I say, reports dashboard can be similarly private dashboards, which you create for yourself, or you can share it to other people. And you put it as private, public, and this is the screen which opens up. So dashboard is a collection of components, and by components I said it will be charts, right? So what I created these opportunities. Here you have the option of choosing this, right? Use the chart setting from report, because this report already has a chart. I can use that directly. You see, this was the chart I made. I can add that. I can add this report once again, and I can select a different chart for it. Maybe a donut chart. Yeah. I can select some other reports also. I need not have to be only select same reports. I can have multiple reports feeding into my dashboard. So here, these two charts are coming from the same report, and batch 11 opportunities, and this is coming from another report called my accounts. All put together. When I'm saving it, before I'm saving it, I can choose view dashboard as. This is very crucial. Since by default I am creating, it is pulling my data and storing it. I can choose to create this dashboard in somebody else's context. Means I am choosing whose data I am going to show or save in my dashboard. So these are two static or default ways of creating dashboards. But you can also create dynamic dashboards.
Can you please repeat for another person what you said?
So when I am creating this dashboard,
Yes, sir.
this is basically pulling my data, right?
Yes, sir.
So when I am saving this dashboard, if somebody else opens it, he will be seeing my data. Okay. So if I save it, somebody else logging in and he will be opening this dashboard, he will be seeing this whole data. Maybe he does not have access to that data, but he can still see. Got it? Because this has been created with my context. So I have created this dashboard, view dashboard as. So
Yes, sir.
whose data am I showing? It is showed here.
Okay.
So a person who is not on Animesh Banerjee, when he logs in, you will be seeing this dashboard and they will be showing as viewing as Animesh Banerjee. So he knows this is not my data. I am seeing data created by my data available as somebody else for this person. Maybe because he's a super admin, so he has more access to the data. Got it?
Okay, sir.
Quite similar to now that, and if you want to subscribe, that is also you can do. So if you subscribe, you just create the subscriber. Since this is already static data, you don't need to now tell them in the subscription whose context this data should be pulled in, because dashboard is already saved with a context. So you just say them who are the recipients and that's it. Game over. It comes into mail. So this dashboard is just like a snapshot itself. Report was dynamic. The reports were live data, but dashboard is not live data. Dashboard needs to be refreshed. Dashboard stores data. Okay. Now, I can say, I said that I can make a dashboard dynamic also. If I do that, how it is done? I will go to dashboard viewer and I change this to dashboard viewer. When I do a dashboard viewer, a logged in user will see the dashboard with only the data that is available for him. It will work like a report. Okay. You can also allow them to change that and see the data for other people if you tick this checkbox. But let's see this first. If I save and done, what will happen is that you see the subscribe button will be gone, because now you are not storing data, right? So how will I subscribe? So subscribe button is gone. Now but you are seeing viewing as Animesh Banerjee. So anybody who's logging in, his name will show up here. Instead of always showing Animesh Banerjee, whoever he logs in, he will see the data based on his login. So he will only see the data which is available for him. But he can also see data for other people if I do a tick here and save it. Then if I go in the screen once again, I have the ability now to change. So I can change this dashboard and I see what is the dashboard or how is the data looking for some other person. Sometimes it does not refresh automatically. Anyway, it changes. Okay, so this change, it will change to the person with whom I'm changing, and his data will show up. So you have the ability to change the dashboard according to the if you have given this permission change. Okay, so that is dynamic dashboard. But you see, in dynamic dashboard, you cannot do a subscribe, so it will not go out as mail because you do not know whose data you are going to send, right? So that's the game. So dashboard and report, is it clear now to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now let's see some other stuff. So as I said, there are report types already available, but what will I do if I create a custom object? Let's create a custom object. I have created a thing, and let's go and create some fields. Maybe I create a amount field here. Okay. So now if I go and select I want to create a report on this new object. Can I do that? Nothing is coming here, right? What happened? Can I not do a report on custom object? Of course you can. But by default is not available. What you have to do, you go to details of this object. You see enable reports is not ticked. So you have to go there. And here allow reports is a feature which you have to allow. Now enable reports is ticked. So now if I go and refresh this, and now try to create a report and search with batch 11, it now comes. And I can easily create report. So very important, if you are not getting report type of that object, then certainly it is not been enabled. So it's a troubleshooting option to remember. One. Second, what if I want to create 2 or 3 objects, I said, right? How can that be done? If I have a relationship, then automatically that report type will be created. So if I create a relationship probably with account, or basically look up with maybe contact. Then what happens? Let's go to reports. Let's try to create a new report. You see, now batch 11 is with contact. There is another report type which allows me to select another object. So that when I do this, at that point, I can select fields from not only batch object, but also contact object. Right? All this can come on the header. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So report and dashboard we have already covered, and I think if you have already, most of them have like completed admin, beginner, and intermediate. So it is very important now that we move into the creation of objects and fields. So let's cover, because we have enough time today. to move into some fields. So let's talk about this batch 11. So what would have happened had I made this? This is a lookup field, right? Batch the lookup to contact. Instead of lookup, had I created a master detail, what would have happened? Lookup and master detail we covered, right? The differences.
Yeah,
Hello. हेलो, इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई?
I can hear you, Animesh.
Not able to hear you, Priyanka. Can you come again?
No, I said that I could hear you.
Oh, okay. So what would have happened if I would have made a lookup, a master detail? This one, how differently would that happen? Any ideas? Let's do that.
So owner field will be gone.
Owner field will be gone. What else? That field mandatory will become mandatory, right?
Yeah.
What if I want to make the amount field mandatory? What will I have to do?
I will make it as a parent.
Sorry. First and foremost, how will I put values into this table? Let's make how to create values. I have created a new table. How will I put values, or how will I create records in this table? Let's create a lookup field once again. This time an account lookup field. Account amount, two fields are there, but how will I create? Okay. If I go to setup and I search with this batch 11, will I get anything? Nothing is there. Because to do, I need a page like this, right? Like tab like this. When I can do new record creation, right? Where is that tab? That's not there, right? So not only creating the object, it is also important that you create the tab for that object. Otherwise, you cannot create records into that object. Okay. If it has a lookup relationship, just like this, then probably you can create some records. If you go to the parent, I go to the account here, probably you have this batch 11 now here. Here I can create the records. Right? Since I am on account, this is already selected. First record got created. Right? But what if I need a tab? I don't have it. No? So what I have to do, I have to go and search for tabs. Here there is a tab. I have to create a tab for it. So I will, this is a custom object tabs. So I will go and select.
It's the same as registration we have done, like that.
Sorry.
The same like the registration part we have done while creating the tabs.
Registration means? Correct. Registration of the
Custom object
Yes,
you
sir.
created, yeah, sir.
Yes, the same thing we will do it here.
We
absolutely
even created a suggestion box app in our sales.
right. Correct.
Yeah.
So you have to create. So you should have answered me. Why you have not been able to answer? So this tab needs to be. This tab can have three kinds of visibility. Default on, that means you can see it. Default off, that means you will not be able to see the tab directly on any app, but you can search for it. Tab hidden means it is not available to that profiles. Okay, let me make it default on, and it is default on for all profiles, so everybody can work on it. I can add this on any of the tabs. Sorry, any of the apps. So I can say that only sales will have it and service will have it. Rest of the apps don't need it. That's it. If I do this and I refresh the page now, if I go to sales, here you will see now. Did I add on sales? Where did I add? Batch. Batch 11 has now come, right? This is the now tab available. Here now I can create records. So if I do all, you'll see this is the record already I created, right? From an account. I can go and edit this list, select fields to display, and probably I will select the account, select amount. That's it. Record ID I can do. Yeah. Now I can go and create a record from here also. When I select here, account needs to be selected. Amount 20. Batch. It's 2. What I select here and save, if I go to this account, it will show up here. So now batch 12 has 2 records. Right? So we now know that how it object is created and how I can fill data inside that object, right? By creating a tab on it. Without creating a tab, you cannot create a record. Okay, now the next step would be, let's talk about different fields, what we have today. What is the need for all these fields? We covered this, right? But let's do that once again. What is the need for these fields? This checkbox and so many types of fields. Why can't we have only a text field? That should solve the purpose. Because text field allows numbers and characters, right? So why do we need a number field? Why do we need a currency field? Why do I need a time field, URL field? What is the point? I can fill everything in this text field. What is the necessity?
To be more specific about the type of data we are handling.
What is the result? What is this specific? This is a logical term. Be specific means what?
The prefix of it, like if it's INR, or if it is percentage, or if it is in date time format. For format and
For formatting, that's correct. But why that formatting is important? Why the data needs to be in a particular format? These are basic questions, right? I'm asking. Nothing extraordinary, right? You have to ask these questions to yourself.
because every data has its own function. The URL will take to another page, or if it's number, we will do calculations.
That's fine. That
Yeah,
that
nobody
that
can
that
put
that
the
would,
wrong data.
nobody.
Can put the wrong data.
Absolutely right. That is the answer. In order to block user from putting garbage data, unusable data. That is why these people are working so much to keep on updating or giving different field types. These field types ensures that system already blocks bad data. So more specific you are into those requirements, like if you want true and false, you should allow checkbox so that they do not mistype. They, instead of typing TRUE, they do not mistype or miss the R. Sometimes that can happen, right? If I give a text field.
Yes, sir.
So this will produce garbage data, which is unusable. So if there is a true or false, then only two values, then probably I will create a checkbox.
Accuracy is more, sir.
Accuracy and usability of that data is more. And garbage data, then that means bad data will not enter into the system. If you have bad data, you cannot use it. That data is unusable, right? So it is very critical that we choose the appropriate data type so that system automatically does a system validation for the data. All these fields comes with a baked-in validation logic. In URL, you have to put a URL, physical URL. It checks for that format. Time will check for that format. Here you cannot enter a value of 20 more than 24, right? You cannot enter a value a date a format which is not acceptable, or date. You will not put a value in a text field email format. It will be in a specific format, at the rate something something. It should be there. If you need a specific set of data only that they need to choose from, you will go with a pick list, wherein they cannot give anything and everything. You will say only you have to choose between these values. Then you will choose pick list. And when you choose pick list, user can select only one. If there can be multi-selection, then you'll use a multi-select pick list. Right? That is the whole purpose of giving all these data types. The phone field will also check for the format. Automatically formats this as a phone number. You see, these are specific things which it does. Percentage will make sure that it is already baked in as a percentage. Geolocation will make sure you are giving latitude and longitude values. That can be used in maps. Text can be of different types. Text, what is the text? The difference between text and text area? Both have the same data type, right? 255 characters. It is written here. You see, in
In
text,
text area, we can have different lines. Like
yeah,
we can use enter.
absolutely. You can break the line.
Yeah.
You can put a enter. Enter button will not work in text. It will be a continuous text. Yeah. Similarly, long and rich can also be. Long gives you a lot more characters to store. Rich gives you a lot more characters to store, but you can also format data. So you can put images, you can make bold italics of that image. You can do this all. Encrypted text is marks data. It is stored in encrypted form. So these are different functionalities which Salesforce provides out of box. You can choose appropriate data type so that system validates that data when a user is inputting it, and it blocks garbage data. Okay, so always try to choose the correct format so that user gives the proper format. There is a number which is a user enters any number, and this also allows decimals. Leading zeros are removed. So if I have a number field, what is the point of a currency field? What is the difference between a number field and a currency field? Why can't I use a number field for storing currency?
The currency can be like dollars, Indian
Yes.
rupees, or rubles.
Yes.
A number can be any number. It can't be specific about the type of currency we're talking.
Correct, absolutely. So currency is basically, if I did not have currency, then what would I had to do? I had to use a number field. Along with it, I had to give a pick list value to choose the currency type. So two fields put together, baked in is this basically currency field, right? So every data type has its own attributes around it, and we have to choose the appropriate data type whenever possible. Similarly, lookup relationship is a loose coupling between two objects, wherein both are independent objects. The OWD can be set independently for different objects. They are not, if the parent record is deleted, child record is just blanked out, but it does not affect the child. But if you do a master detail relationship, then
Child record will be
child
deleted in master
related will be deleted, parent record OWD will be applicable for the child record. So these are different features and functionalities of lookup, and
owner field will be gone for the child.
that's correct. Absolutely. So all these fields we already discussed. Now, what we'll do, we'll create a master data relationship. Why? Because we are talking about some other fields today. So let's talk about account. I think I created an account already. Yeah. So this is a lookup field. Can I make it a, can I change the data type and make it a master? Change field type is here, right? You can change field type from one type to another, but you have to make sure that there is no data loss. So it is very important. Sometimes you text field, you change to number field, that can lead to data loss. So I am making this a master detail relationship. This works because this lookup data is all filled up. Had there been one record which did not have a lookup filled up, it would have blocked me, because master detail is mandatory, right? So you must have values everywhere. All the lookups should contain value, then only it will allow you to create it or change it to master detail. Now this has become mandatory. But why did I do that? Because now we will discuss some field types. So I have the parent and I have the child object. On the child, if I create a master detail relationship, master detail relationship can be created on the child side or parent side.
Only child side.
Only child side. All relationships needs to be created on the child side. So when you have a master detail relationship created, then on the parent side, you can create a field called roll up summary. Okay, this is a type of field which is only available if you have a master detail child. If you do not have that, then if you are a standard objects, in some standard object is available out of box, but in a custom object, you have to have a master detail child, otherwise you will not be able to create it. So roll up summary does what? Roll up summary can count your child records. You can do summation of some column of a child record. You can come with a min or max of any column in the child records, any numeric column, of course. So sum, min, max, I think sum, count, min, max, I think average is also there, if I remember. Okay. So let's see how that works. So if I go to now account, in field and relationship, I have the roll up summary. Since account is a standard object, you can create roll up summary even if it did not have any any master detail child, because there are some objects on which you can do a roll up summary. But let's see that. Let's do a total. You see this? Which object do I summarize? Since batch 11 is now a master detail, it is coming here. But there in standard objects, only these two objects are applicable. Contact is not there. You see, it's not supported. Those are standard objects. Entitlements opportunity are standard objects on which you can do roll-ups automatically. But otherwise, or a custom object needs to be master detail. Otherwise, you will not come. You can do a count, which I was talking about, but you can do a min max. Average is not there. Sorry, I was wrong. So sum min max, I can choose any numeric field from here. So amount is there. These three things, let's have a sum here. Min and max means the minimum amount or max amount of that. I am adding this field on my account page. What? Let's see this now. On this account, I have batch 11 data, right? I have test 1 and test 2. Let's see this batch 11 1 second. So amount are 120, 220, 10 and 20 are available for 2 records on the same account. So let's go to the account. If I go to detail, you see I have created a total which is adding up is 10 and 20 and putting together 30. If I now add another batch record here, how much will it show now?
60.
See, so it is a kind of a formula field which can only do sum, min and max or count. These 4 functions only it is supporting. Okay, but this is roll up summary, which is on the parent side. You can add up, find the min or max or count of your child records, but child has to be master detail child only. Clear? So
Yes, sir.
another difference between lookup and master detail. So if you make a master detail relationship, then on the parent side you can create a roll up summary. For lookups, you cannot create a roll up summary. Now let's have more fun.
Sir.
Yeah.
So I have one question. What will count do?
Count will, what will count do? Tell me. Had I made a count, what would have showed here? Anybody?
3.
3, absolutely. 3 records.
Okay. Okay.
Count of number of records, simple. What had I chosen min, what would have come here?
I think $10
10,
was the
sir.
minimum.
10 will come here.
10, 10.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would have been max? What would have come here?
$30.
$30, right? Absolutely. Simple. So you know it all. You don't even need to create formula. You can calculate on your head. Good progress. So now we have to come to the child side now. Let's come to the child side. I will come back on my sheet once again. Apologies for going to and fro, but I think whiteboard clears up our mind a little more.
Whiteboard is funniest.
So whiteboard makes it easier to understand. So I have created a sum, right? It is showing the sum of all the records, the amount records, right? Here, now I have a requirement. It should show for each record, record 1, record 2, record 3, I have amount of $10, $20, $30, right? Here the sum is showing $60, right? I want to see the difference of between this amount and the total amount. So 60 minus 10, that should be 50. 60 minus 20 should be 40. 60 minus 30 should be 30. This difference should show up in my screen.
We'll use like a formula field.
Absolutely. See, so easy. So why were you struggling?
We all suffer from lack of confidence.
So now let's create that. So batch 11, now we will create a formula field. Now you help me creating that formula field. Tell me how to create it, okay? So I will go here, I will choose formula here. I will do next. What I will name it difference, right? I name it difference. Let's do the difference. What kind of field is this basically? Data type was
Currency, because we are differentiating between currencies, so we'll
we are
select
working
that.
on currency, absolutely.
Yeah.
Difference between two currencies, correct. Decimal place, let's keep it 0 only, because I think I selected those two fields also had decimal place as 0. So let's see that. Now the formula field has two versions. You can use simple formula, you can have advanced formula. So difference you can directly type here, whatever you want to type. That is very easy. Otherwise, these things has been given for you to automatically choose that, and it will give you the value. So if you see, I will go to a little advanced formula now. Why? Because for simple formula, you can only use the fields. You see here, it will create you. It will give you the fields of this object. The operators, these are the operators you can choose, and it organization or user information you can choose from here. But here we are not only dealing with that object, because the roll-up summary is not on the this object, right? Batch 11 does not have a roll-up summary. The parent has it. So let's introduce to insert field. What will I do? In batch 11, I have a lookup field, right? This account field also there. If I insert account, it will be the 18 character or 13 character value, right?
Yeah.
But here, if I go to the account, this arrow button shows this is the relationship. I can traverse now to the account fields.
Yeah.
Okay, so I go and pick which field I have created. Total, right?
Yeah.
I choose this and I do an insert. So you see this automatically comes it account underscore R. That is the relationship of account dot means on that object which field I am using.
Now we need to insert an operator.
Operator, what operator will be there?
Subtract.
Subtract, simple. Let's do that. And which field? On batch or 11 object now,
Batch
right?
11.
The normal amount object, right? This is the
Yeah.
amount. Insert. What if I were to I want to hand type this? Tell me what should I type it from my mind if I don't want to use any of this? Which objects I want to take this field? I want to take this field from account object. So I have to traverse the relationship with underscore R.
Double underscore, yeah.
Dot.
Double underscore R dot.
Then I will take
total.
that field minus my field name, which is amount.
Oh, yeah.
Amount also it has underscore C.
C.
Total also has underscore C, because these are all custom fields, right?
Yeah.
Check syntax. It's always a good practice to check for syntax. No errors. Next. I am adding this to now to the layout. Let's go back. Let's go to this batch 11. Let me change this. I think batch 11 was added here. Yeah. So all amount is there. Let's add this difference field. Is it there? Difference field has come here, right? Just keep it side by side. See, grand total was 60, right?
Yeah.
So 50, 40 and 30 is coming. If you go to this record itself, difference is also created with amount. The difference is also. Make sure when we do an edit, this is for formula field, so it will not be editable. It will be read only always. So if you change this to maybe 40 now, what is the value now? 50. Why? Ten became 40. Previous total was 60, right?
60, yeah.
So now it has
30
become
more.
30 more.
90. Yeah, 90.
So 90 has
97.
become, so 90 minus 40, so 50. So
Yeah.
if I go back to the batch, you see the differences has all changed again. Because now the summation is difference is coming from 90. 90 minus 40, 50, 90 minus 20, 70, 90 minus 30, 60. And does it show 90? Let's go to the account. You see, now the
Yes,
total
sir.
is 90. Quite easy, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you are using formulas with fields, which is not only your field, this object field on which the formula is created, but also parent fields, you can only use parent master detailed parent fields only. Parent fields. Now my lookup also you can use. Anyway, so if you use the parent fields here in the formula field, then it is called a cross object formula field. But if you use only fields of this object where this field is getting created, in that case it is normal simple formula field. So the difference between cross object formula and a simple formula field, clear to you?
Yes, sir.
See, the fun is this field is basically a roll-up summary field. So this is a type of formula field. So you can use a formula inside formula also. Right? So much fun. We'll play with the page layout a little. So this layout is in one column. I want to make this a 2-column layout and I save it. I go here and I go to batch 11 once again. I do a refresh. It takes a while. Yeah, now it has become a 2-column. See, very easy. This layout is used in detail in new screen, in edit screen also. So when you make any changes to the layout, it affects these three areas: new, read, edit. In delete, you don't need a layout, so you can just ask for the message and you can delete it, right? Page layout is critical. You can make a field mandatory on the page layout also. If you go to this page, this amount field you want to make mandatory, you go to the ranch, make it required and do a save. If you do that, here, if I want to add create a new, you see the amount field. Again, it will take a while. It is a caching that happens, so it takes a little time to get that details. But what happens is that
Amount field will be fixed then.
No, it
Because you
becomes
want to-
mandatory. It becomes this red star will come along with this. So here, even if you can make a field mandatory by directly going to that field and making it required, or you can make a field mandatory on the page layout itself. So when to use what? We will discuss in next class when we also talk about validation rule. Clear? So we'll take a break today.
Yes, sir.
Lot of subjects today to play around, play with your formulas and formula fields. And in next class, we'll go to validation rules and we will also discuss when to use what. Should I make a mandatory field on my page layout? Should I make a mandatory field on my field, or should I make a mandatory field on basically validation rule? Validation rule also can make things mandatory. Okay, so we'll see that in the next call. Any questions so far, or we'll close the call today? Have a nice weekend.
You too, sir.
No questions? Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.